We're off. We're here. Okay, so we're going to start nice and grounded through the feet. Today, we're just going to give the toes a little wiggle to begin with. And then we're going to lift up through all 10 of the toes. And we're going to try our very best to create some space between the toes. And just noticing if we can do that with both feet, if there's any difference, if it feels more challenging on one side than the other. And quite a nice exercise to do to help with that is to place the tennis ball under the ball of the foot and just encourage the spread of the toes. Okay, so we relax them down and we're just going to shift side to side, mobilizing through the feet and ankles. If there's a little bit of cracking and clicking, that's okay. A super simple and effective way to just release any tension around the feet and ankles. And then we're going to take it forward onto the toes and balls of the feet and to the heels. So activating that core stabilization system of the body, just waking it up a little bit. And just notice the connection of the feet to the ground. And then we're going to take it right up onto the toes, pressing down through the big toe, and then bringing it back. So up we come, pressing down through the big toe, and come back to the heels. And ideally we want to hit a point where we can come up to the top and you can hold it and it feels fairly comfortable without wibble wobbling everywhere. We're going to do one more. And then we relax that down. Okay, we're going to take a wide stance and we're just going to wiggle through the hips, trying to keep the upper body still, so the rib cage and upper body still, and we're dipping through one side and then the other. So for some people this will be quite challenging to dissociate the movement of the upper body and the hips, yeah? So upper body stays still, pelvis and hips move. Okay, amazing. And then we turn that into a nice circle through the hips so we can forward, side, scoop it round, side. So really nice at creating release around the hips, through the inner thighs. So if there's any tension through the inner thighs, this is really great to just help release that. And then we change direction. Lovely, I get a nice bow on my mouth. Tiggy. Good work. So scoop it round, side, forward, side, scoop it round. We bring it back to neutral. And then we're going to just take ourselves, we're going to bend through one knee, and we're either going to place a hand on that leg, or we're going to come down with the forearm on that leg. Now, as I've done that, my toes have naturally turned out so that the knee glides over the toes. So I want you to just have a little think about that. So forearm down, or the hand, okay, and then we're going to lengthen the fingertips right to the sky with the other hand. So we're thinking about nice, strong, nice space, a nice strong position, nice space through the shoulders and neck. And then from there, we're going to straighten through the bent knee and we're going to glide the hand down the leg towards the foot, trying to keep that chest facing forward. Nice big full breaths. I'm supporting myself with the hand on that lower leg. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up and we shift to the other side. So again, just notice if the foot needs to make any adjustments, the knee glides over the toes. We either place the hand on the leg or we can lower the forearm down, fingertips to the sky. And we're just lengthening through the whole body. We breathe. We're going to straighten through that bent knee and we're gliding the hand down the leg. Fingertips pointing to the sky, lengthening through the arm. Okay, we bring ourselves back up and out of that. And then we're going to place the hands together. Okay, we take the elbows out to the side and we're going to press the hands together. Okay, from here, we're going to move into a squat. So we're going to bend through the knees and we move into, we take a deep squat. Okay, so press those hands together, nice length through the neck, a nice strong position for the shoulders. We bend through those knees. Okay, and we're taking ourselves into that deep squat. Now with a wider squat, we tend to find that it's, rather than it being a sit back through the pelvis, the tailbone draws down towards the ground, and then we power through those legs to bring the extension. Now, it doesn't have to be a super deep squat, just work with what feels good for your body. And then when we've done a few repetitions, we ask for a little bit more. We power through those legs. Notice the connection of the feet to the ground. We go again. Press the hands together, tailbone down, and then we draw back up. And we're going to do one more repetition. Okay, so we move down into that squat. We drive through those feet and legs into the standing position, and then we're going to bring ourselves into a narrow position. Narrow feet, we're going to take the hands down to the knees, and we're going to circle through those knees. So as we do the circling of the knees, you notice the connection of the feet to the ground. There will be some shift through the feet, but we're trying our best to keep the feet grounded. We change direction. Nice, big full circles. And then we bring ourselves up to a standing position. Okay, so feet shoulder width apart. We're going to clasp those hands together and we're going to create length right down the arms to the hands. So we're going to draw the hands down and create length through those arms. From here, we're going to take the chin down to the chest and we're going to gently roll down through this top part of the spine. Now as we do this, the arms are going to reach up towards the ears. If you're not sure, just take a look at what position I'm in now. So I roll down through the upper back and the arms have come up to almost meet the ears. And I'm pushing those hands away from me to create nice glide through the shoulders. From here, we're going to roll up through the spine and the hands are going to draw back to that start position. Okay, so nice release through the mid-back, the rib cage and the shoulders and the shoulder blades. So we're going to do it again. We're going to create length through the arms. So we're almost pushing the hands down towards the ground. We take the chin to the chest and we roll down through the upper part of the body and we push the hands away. Okay, so the arms are meeting the ears. We're heading in the right direction. And then we're going to roll everything back up. Okay, we're going to do that once more. So nice straight arms, lengthen, press them down towards the ground, chin down to the chest, rolling down through the upper part of the body, and then we take the hands away from us and the arms are drawing up towards the ears. Press the hands away, so length through the arms, and then we roll it back up, those arms draw back down to the start position. From here, we unclasp the hands in front of us, we clasp the fingers together behind us, and we lift and open through the chest. Amazing. Okay. So relax the arms down for a moment. We're going to just start with the standing bow with both legs, and then we're going to do a variation of it. So hands behind the back, you can either hold the hands or clasp the fingers together. Okay, and we're not forcing the shoulders back, but we're creating a nice position for those shoulders. Again, another dissociation exercise. So the idea is we're able to move through the hips without having to curl through the back. Okay, so we hinge through the hips and we draw it back up. Okay, however, the hands behind the back and we hinge through the hips. Okay, so a common mistake with this one is when we get so far, people feel they need to go further and then we'll take it through the chest, yeah? They'll lower down through the upper back. I want you to think about the movement coming from the hips, yeah? Okay, we're going to do one more of those. And if it's something you're not 100% sure about, then I'd suggest that a really good thing to do is to get a long mirror and just to practice it and just to make sure the movement is coming from it. So you can either keep it as it is, or you can have a moment's rest. Or if we want to make it a little bit more challenging, we're going to stagger the stance. However, like with the anterior reach, the load is going through that front leg. So the back toe comes down behind, okay, but we're loading through the front leg. We should be able to lift up through that back foot. Okay, strong standing posture, and we're going to hinge. Okay, so we're loading through this front leg. We're going to hinge through the hip, and we'll draw it back up. Okay, hinge through the hip, and draw it up. Amazing. Okay, so again, if you're a little bit unsure of whether you're doing this correctly, then use a long mirror and practice it, yeah? So it's that hinge through the hip, load through that front leg. We're going to do one more and then we'll switch to the other side. Amazing, and we'll switch to the other side. Okay, so strong standing posture. Again, all we're going to do is just start by lifting and lowering the back leg. So this just shows that we are placing our weight through the front leg. Okay, and then we hinge through the hip and we draw it back to a standing position. Okay, so even if that between repetitions you lift and lower that back foot, so we know we're loading predominantly through the front leg, then that's fine. And we take a bow, hinging through the hips. Hinge through those hips. I'm going to do one more of those. Hinge, hinge. We bring it up, and we're just going to relax those arms down. From here, we're going to roll the shoulders just to create some nice release. Super restorative through the upper body and shoulders. Glide forward, up and over, and then open the chest. Glide forward, up and over, and open through the chest. Amazing. So just to create some nice release through rotation, we're just going to allow the arms to swing, trying to allow them to feel as heavy as possible right down to the fingertips. Okay. and relax there. Fabulous. So we're going to take ourselves down onto the mat now. Just the camera a little bit. Amazing. Okay. So, a nice standing position. We're going to bend through the knees and hips, and we're going to bring ourselves into that 4-point kneeling position. Okay, so if kneeling is not an option, we're going to do the cat-cow. So you can either do that in standing position with the hands on the legs, or you can do it with the hands on a piece of furniture. So we're looking at curve through the spine, both directions, flexion and extension. So we take the belly button to the sky, bridge through the shoulders. Okay, tuck under through the tailbone, and then we go the opposite way. Tailbone back, lift through the chest. We go again, all the way up to the sky, press down through the hands, and then we draw it into the cat. Tailbone back, belly button down, lift through the chest. So you can either keep it as it is, so keep repeating that, or we can do a variation. Now the variation looks a little bit like this. We're going to take one foot forward, and then we're going to place both hands on the inside of the front foot. Okay, and we're going to do exactly the same. So we move into the cat. Belly button to the sky, bridge through the shoulders, tailbone under, and then we take the tailbone back, we lift through the chest. Now, if you want to make this slightly less challenging, you can either place your hands on a block or a book to lift you up slightly. Okay, so we move into the cat. Belly button to the sky, tuck under through the tailbone, and then we move it into the cat. Now it's a much subtler movement. Okay, I don't even know if that's a word. It's a much more subtle movement. We're going to do it once more, and then we'll go to the other side. Belly button to the sky, tuck the tailbone under, and then we move into the cow. Tailbone back, lift through the chest. And you almost can't, on the video, it doesn't particularly look like I'm moving into a cow position, but just because it's that variation and we've got that leg out in front. Okay, so we switch to the other side. Again, if it's too much for you, you can take it back to the normal one. Okay, both hands on the inside of the foot, and we're going to move into the cat. Okay, press down through the hands, lift up through the chest bone, the belly button, and the tail under. And then we move into the cat. Tailbone back, lift through the chest. Into the cat. And take it into the tailbone back, lift through the chest. We're going to do one more, all the way up into that cat. Tailbone back, lift through the chest, into the cat. Okay, we'll bring ourselves out of that. And we're going to do an exercise that requires core stabilization. Okay, I'll give you a few variations of this, just so you can choose what level works best for you. Okay, so the first level of this exercise, okay, is going to be 4-point kneeling, toes onto the mat. We take a big full breath in, and as we breathe out, we lift up through the knees. Okay, we lower the knees with the breath in and reset. We lift the knees with the breath out. Okay. Alternatively, we can do this one. Okay. We sit the bottom back into the child's pose position. We draw ourselves up. We step a foot forward. We step it back. We glide the hands forward. We draw ourselves back up and we step a foot forward. Okay, so this one's more about mobility. The first one is about core engagement. So think about what you want to work on, or you could do a little bit of both. If you want to combine the two to make it more challenging, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, child's pose position. Okay, we lift into the 4-point kneeling position, toes down, we lift up through the knees and we bring one foot forward. Okay, we bring the foot back, we lower the knees, child's pose position. We draw up to the 4-point kneeling position. Toes on the mat, we lift through the knees, we step the foot forward. Okay, we step it back, knees down, child's pose position. Okay, 4-point kneeling position. Toes on the mat, we lift the knees and we draw one foot so it's next to the hands. Both hands are still grounded. The foot is on the outside of the hands. We draw that back, lower the knees, child's pose position. Okay, so if that's a lot of information, you're thinking I have no idea which one I'm doing, don't worry. Okay, make an exercise up. First one we did, toes on the ground, lift up through the knees with the breath out, lower them down, breath in. Core activation, lift up through the knees, lower it down. Second exercise, bring it down into the child's pose, lift into the high kneeling position, step a foot forward, bring it back, glide the hands forward. Child's pose position, we lift everything up, we step it forward, we bring it back. The other one, third and final variation. Child's pose position, we take it to 4-point kneeling. Toes down and we lift the knees. We step one foot forward, so it's on the outside of the hands, both hands remain grounded. We step it back, we lower the knees, child's pose position. Into the 4-point kneeling, toes down, lift the knees, foot comes forward. We draw it back, lower the knees, and take it into the child's pose. Okay, we lift up and out of that. And we're going to take ourselves into a seated position. Okay, so legs out in front of us, fingertips down behind us, and we're just going to roll the knees to the side, back to centre, and over to the other side. So we're going to continue with that movement. Super simple. Okay, super duper simple. Create that roll from side to side. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 variations of this. Okay, because one's going to include taking it up onto the knees. If that's not the best option for you, then I'll give you another option. So you can either keep it as it is, which is just that narrow stance with the feet, rolling from side to side. Or we can widen the feet and take it into the split leg position. Okay, so the first one doesn't require you to go into a kneeling position. So we lift up and over, okay, and then we're going to continue the movement round with the body, use the hands on the ground to assist us, and we look towards the back of us, okay. We lift it up and over, we continue the movement of the body around, and we look towards the back of us. Okay, so just do this anyway, even if you know you want to do the high kneeling one, because this is really nice, super restorative, really, really nice. Use the hands to assist you. Okay, if you want to do high kneeling, okay, I'll show you what we're going to do. Up and over, okay, we lift up into high kneeling from that split leg position. So if that's too challenging to bridge the gap, you can use the hands on the ground in front of you to lift yourself into that high kneeling position. Okay, you can use the hands to lower you down. Okay, so the hands assist you. Okay, now the goal with this one is to be able to do it hands free. Okay, we take it down, up and over, and up. Okay, down, up and over, and up into the high kneeling. So you can see it becomes hands free exercise. Okay, but again, just work with your body, work with what feels good for you. If you don't want to do the high kneeling, you think about that nice rotation, and you take it all the way round to the back. Alternatively, we keep a narrow stance, and we take it up and over. And you can always switch between variations. You know, you don't have to stick with the same one. You can do a bit of everything. Okay. And then we relax there. We're going to take ourselves into a lying position, onto our back, and we're going to hug the knees to the chest. Give them a nice wiggle, massage that lower back into the mat. And then we're going to place both feet down onto the ground, knees bent, and the arms are coming down by the side. We're going to work through the shoulder bridge, so we've got just a normal shoulder bridge to begin with. We scoop the tailbone under, okay, flattening the lower back to the mat, and then we lift the pelvis up to the sky. We squeeze through the glutes at the top, and then we're going to roll it down. And as we do that, we think about nice mobility through the spine. Okay, we think about keeping the feet grounded at all times. We scoop the tailbone under, flatten the lower back. Lead with the pelvis, squeeze through the glutes at the top, and then we roll it down. We're going to do one more, but before we change it, we do a different variation. We scoop under, take the pelvis to the sky, squeeze through the glutes, and then we roll it down. Okay, so we're going to stagger the stance now. So if this doesn't feel right for you, you can keep it as it is with feet in a neutral position. Otherwise, we're going to draw one heel to the bottom and the other foot, we're going to step it out away from it. So we've got a staggered stand. And then we do exactly the same. Scoop the tailbone under, lead with the pelvis to the sky, squeeze the glutes at the top, and then we roll it down. And we go again. We scoop under, lead with the pelvis to the sky, squeeze through the glutes to the top, and then we roll Yeah, down. We're going to do one more and then we will change the feet. So we'll do the other side. Okay, we draw all the way up, squeeze through the glutes at the top, and then we roll it down. And then we switch legs. Draw the other heel to the bottom this time, step the other foot away. We scoop under. Lead with the pelvis to the sky, squeeze through the glutes at the top, and then we roll it back down. We scoop under. Pelvis to the sky, squeeze through the glutes at the top, and roll it down. And we're going to do one more of those, scoop under. Pelvis to the sky, squeeze through the glutes at the top, and then we roll it down. Amazing. Okay, from here we create a nice neutral position with the feet again. We take the arms out to the side. We're going to lower the knees to the side, so nice and controlled. We're getting that lovely rotation and we keep the shoulders round. We draw back up. We take it over to the other side. We draw back up. So we keep that nice smooth roll through the pelvis. It's a controlled movement, so we're not just allowing the knees to drop to the side. Keep the shoulders grounded like Velcro stuck to the ground. And then we roll that back. So to progress this on, okay, today we think about mobility. So we're going to straighten, if we've got the space, we're going to straighten the top leg. Okay, it acts as a little bit of overpressure, creates a bigger movement. So we bend through the knee, draw it back, and then we go over to the other side. We straighten through the top leg. Okay, so you can feel that it does just draw you into a slightly more rotated position. We bring the foot back in, we roll back to center, we take it over. We straighten through the top leg. We draw it back in, we roll back to center. And we do it again. We straighten the top leg. We bring it back in. Over we go. And we're going to do one more repetition. We bring it in and we're just going to hook the knees to our chest. Give them a little wiggle. Massage that lower back into the mat. Okay, we're going to straighten one leg out. Ground the hip, ground the leg, and we're going to take hold of the hamstring of the other leg. So we're going to straighten through the knee, hook to the sky, and then bend through the knee. We'll work in between those 2 points. So heel to bottom, and then heel to sky. So we're mobilizing the hamstring through movement, and we're also encouraging some nice glide through the knee. Foot to the sky, and then heel to the bottom. And it shouldn't feel super duper easy, but on the other hand, it shouldn't feel painful, or you shouldn't get excessive shaking at the top. Okay, so it's finding that sweet spot where it's challenging the body, but also it's not taking it too far, not forcing the movement. So we're going to do one more of those. Look to the sky. Bring it down and we switch to the other side. Okay. Hold the hamstring and straighten through the leg. And then we draw it down. So we're creating release through the hamstring, also getting some nice glide through the knee. Okay, we're going to do one more. And then we're going to take ourselves into a side flying position. So knees bent, hips stacked. The underneath arm, we're going to take that out so it's at eye level. We untuck the shoulder, and you can either place the head on the ground or on a cushion. So what we're going to do is, in fact, we're going to change the position of the legs. No, sorry, we can keep them as they are. Or if you want to anchor the pelvis more, you're going to straighten the underneath leg and allow the top knee to lower down towards the ground. Okay, so we create an anchored pelvis. If that's too much, take it back so both knees are bent and the hips are stacked. Okay, two options there. Now, whereas usually we kind of keep the hand either kind of close to the chest as we do the bow and arrow, or we do the big full circle, slightly different today. Okay, we're going to place the palms of the hands together. Okay, and then we're going to open the arms as if we're opening a book, and we're rotating and we're taking that hand. So we've opened the book and then we're going to close the book. Okay, so palms together again. We lift the top hand up and over and we open the book. We bring it back together. We go again. We open the book. We bring it back together. We open the book. And we're going to do one more repetition of this. We take that hand up and over, we rotate, we open through the chest, we bring that back, and we switch to the other side. Okay, so remember you can have the knees stacked, knees bent, hips stacked, and that makes it slightly more, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility with the movement because you can shift the pelvis a little bit. Alternatively, if you want a more anchored position, you straighten the underneath leg and lower the top knee to the ground. Okay, the underneath shoulder is untucked and the hand is at eye level. Okay, we'll place the palms of the hands together and then we're going to open the book. So we take the hand up and over and back. So we're rotating, opening through the chest, and then we close that back, palms together. We open it up. And then we draw that together. Here we go. And close it. Palms together. We go again. No. Bring the palms together. We're going to do one more of those. Bring the palms together. And then we're going to take ourselves onto our back. Just bringing those knees to the chest again. This time, we're going to take hold of either the lower legs, the feet, or the ankles. And we're just encouraging the knees to the side. If you're in a curled position where you're lifting up through the head, neck, and shoulders, and the goal is to be able to relax down through the head, neck, and shoulders, and to have that pelvis grounded and to encourage the knees out to the side. And then we're going to press the feet to the sky. We get that nice curve through the lower back. Just holding that position, breathing. And then we're going to take ourselves into a nice, comfortable position wherever that may be. We're just going to take a moment to breathe. You can move, you can stretch, but the idea is we just take a moment to disconnect from everything around us, to focus on our breathing and our breathing pattern, and to focus on relaxation through the body and creating a sense of calm. So the first thing I want you to do is notice your breath. And as you breathe in, I want you to think about or imagine you're filling your body with air right down to the pelvis. So we get a nice expansion out through the rib cage, and we're getting a gentle rise through the tummy. And then as you breathe out, we notice the parts of the body that are connected to the mat, to the ground, and we allow them to melt down. So we're encouraging relaxation through the body. So with the breath in, we're getting a gentle rise to the tummy. Nice, big, full, relaxed breath. And then as you breathe out, you just allow the body to melt down towards the ground of the mat. We're settling into a rhythmical pattern of breath. But we're allowing for a little bit of flexibility. So if you find that it feels quite nice to pause the breath at any point, you can. So we're going to add a count to our breath. And again, you can modify it, you can change it slightly to suit you. It's a great way to add focus and really nice to create a rhythmical breath. So we're going to breathe in for the count of 4. We're going to pause our breath for the count of 4. We're going to breathe out for the count of 6. And then we're going to pause our breath to count of 4. So we breathe in for the count of 4. We pause for the count of 4. We breathe out for the count of 6. And we pause for the count of 4. So we bring ourselves back to our natural breath. We're going to give our toes a wiggle. We're going to give our fingers a wiggle. We're just going to take a moment to move in a way that we feel is most beneficial for us at this moment in time. So it can be as simple as circling through the wrists and ankles. It can be drawing the knees to the chest. It can be rotating those knees from side to side, whatever you feel would be right for you at this moment. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring ourselves back up into a seated position. And we're going to cross those legs and just relax those legs down. Rounded through the seat bones, lengthen through the spine, and we're just relaxing the hands onto the legs. Okay, so we're just going to rotate through the neck. So we're looking side to side, just getting that lovely rotation through the neck. And it's really easy to overlook this simple exercises, but really important that we keep that lovely rotation through the neck. Nice big range of movement. So we're just looking side to side. And then we're going to draw back to center. So we're going to take the chin down to the chest, creating length through the back of the neck. Rolling the ear to the shoulder. Back down, chin to chest. And then we take it over to the other side. So we could keep it as the half circle. If you know you've got a pretty sensitive neck, then we can keep it as the half circle. Or if this feels really good. Alternatively, we can create a big full circle. So ear to the shoulder, we roll it back, we glance to the sky, and we take the ear to the opposite shoulder. And once we've done one circle, we rotate the other way. Ear to the shoulder, roll the neck back, glance to the sky, ear to the shoulder, chin to the chest. And we change direction. So we've got that nice roll through the neck. And we're going to do one more. And then we draw ourselves into that nice tall position. We take the fingertips to the sky. We scissor the arms. The front arm is coming across the body onto the outside of the opposite leg. The other hand comes down behind us and we look over to the shoulder, or to the back shoulder, sorry. We use the hands as a little bit of overpressure to maximise that rotation. And then we draw back to centre. Fingertips to the sky. We scissor the arms. The front hand comes across the body onto the outside of the opposite leg. The back hand comes down behind us. And we glance over to the back shoulder. We use those hands as a little bit of overpressure. We draw back to centre. And then we're going to take those legs out in front of us, hands down behind us. We're going to lift through that chest. And just create that nice release right across the chest. Relax through those legs. And we are done. And just